Hello, good day everyone. I'm Renata Silveira and talking from the beautiful Summit County in Colorado, and it's 11 a.m. in my time. So, I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner, a medicine woman, and the architect of the esoteric. My life purpose is to shine light and add brilliance in people's lives. So far, I have lived an incredible, adventurous life that it was no short of challenges or triumphs. I have moved to different countries, traveled to many countries and many places in the world. I worked as an architect, found love, created a family. I went to Chinese medicine school in my 40s, became an entrepreneur, faced many physical and mental traumas in my own life and in my loved ones. And I found a way of living fully in all stages of my life. I have also met some amazing mentors and coaches who have helped me reconnect with the whole me. And now I'm on a mission to help others do the same. So I wanted to start this. Abigail, if you're there, tell me if you can hear me well, because I want to make sure that my sound is good for everybody. I hope it is. Let me check my phone. All right, so I will keep going. Yeah, nice and clear. Awesome, thank you. So I'd like to start this by first thanking you, Abigail, for providing space in your life for me, for opening this group so I can come and speak about myself and my work, and mostly for being my goddess sister and my life coach for almost 6 years now. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge my inner saboteur, because it's very present here right now with me, trying to convince me not to do this, to retreat and hide in my little bubble where I feel safe and where things feel easy to me. So I confess that I'm feeling a lot of resistance right now. Because I became more of an introvert in this past few years. And it's just too comfortable to be in my dreamland. So I don't want to be out here in the public. So I'm sorry for that. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. I kind of like it. But anyway, I just hope that if you feel a little bit like me, that by me sharing this with you here, you'll get a sigh of relief because you're not alone. So let's start, because I'm here. I love you too, Abigail. So I'm here to talk to you about the magic of the 5 elements of Chinese medicine and how you can embody them so you can have a better life. So everything, visible, invisible, the smallest representation of being and the largest, my hair, representation of being. Everything that we see, that we can feel, and that we just know that exists has a polarity. So that's part of the principle of yin and yang. Can you see in the video up there? I have a hanging symbol of yin and yang. I don't want to mess the camera here. We've been learning more recently here in the western part of the world, but it's a philosophical construction used in the eastern side of the planet for millennia. So yin is associated with darker, colder, passive, introspective, quieter, resting, downward aspects of things. And yang energy, or yang as a constructive way of being and seeing is associated with brighter, hotter, stimulating, exciting, vigorous, outward, and upward aspects of things. So all creations are based in yin and yang, and the balance of these aspects is the goal of everything. However, balance is not like a static state, it's dynamic. So it's correct to say that we live in this constant game of attraction and repulsion, in a constant search for balance and harmony. So it's fascinating to me how we can simplify existence using this principle. So today I'm here expressing myself in a attraction and repulsion way, trying to connect and find balance within me and you, just like all the atoms that are part of my physical body and all the cosmic bodies that we can see up in the sky. We are all doing the same thing at this exact moment. So, almost a decade ago, I had a eat, pray, love moment. And when I was in that moment, everything came into still. I was able to move into a higher perspective and see what was possible for me. So I left my career as an architect. And while my two daughters were in preschool and elementary school, I put on a backpack and went to school myself. I went to learn the art of Chinese medicine. I was looking for something that would fascinate me, and I found it. I'm still fascinated about the wisdom of the Eastern, and I think I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. So today I'm here to talk a little bit about the 5 elements of Chinese medicine and how they can empower you to embody the magic of being the best representation of who you are that is possible to you. So the question to start this talk, or the questions to start this talk are, so why do I have the troubles that I do? Where did it come from? How I can understand, overcome, and prevent them from recurring. So that's how knowing the principle of 5 elements of Chinese medicine and understanding what's predominant in your constitution becomes the key for staying healthy in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, and thriving and even transcending to extraordinary experiences. So the 5 elements are a representation of the primal forces of the universe, or within the universe, which relates to tangible and intangible aspects of all that is, and how everything relates to each other. So it's amazing and almost incredible how existence can be simplified in that way. And it's fascinating how the complexities of our life experiences can be simplified in a way that allow us to remove ourselves from crisis, from stress, anxiety, panic, disease, and deterioration of our physical bodies, and moving to a place of harmony, ease, acceptance, contentment, contemplation, appreciation, and awe. So I want to move into, I have an excerpt from a book called Between Heaven and Earth. It's a great book that explains a lot about Chinese medicine in a way that's tangible for anybody, not just the people who practice Chinese medicine. This book was written by Harriet Benfield and Ephraim Korngold. So the rocks in the river can shift, redirecting the water course, altering the shape of the river banks, but inexorably the river, twisting and turning, follows the gravitational pull from the mountains to the sea. In that sense, the river like our identity, does not change its fundamental direction of flow. How we live our lives may shift and vary, but the primacy of one's element as our organizing force remains. We change, but our type does not. So one's element fashions the context within which we evolve and acts as our primary frame of reference, guiding our instincts and how we live them. So that's how helpful it can be to know your primary element from wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Those are the 5 elements. I mean, I'm speaking from the Chinese medicine aspect, but this is the 5 elements that can be connected to anything that is. So that's how in my clinic I know that someone who presents themselves as primarily earth element, they tend to worry too much, collect dampness in the body, often around the waistline. They tend to develop anxiety and depression patterns, have sinus issues, environmental allergies, and they're more prone to digestive disorders. Or another example, if somebody is a predominant wood element, they are generally driven by competition. They thrive under stress, but they're also prone to diseases of stagnation, like chronic pains, anger. They have a harder time slowing down to contemplate or meditate. So today I'm going to provide you with some aspects of each of the elements to help you identify yourself and maybe some of your loved ones. This is in no way enough information to diagnose and treat diseases, but it's a good starting point, for entertainment purpose and to incite you to maybe look a little deeper into this revealing way to understand yourself and others. And by the way, if you like to have my notes for this presentation, I'm happy to share them. I actually put that on the description of this video. I haven't been on Facebook Live for over 2 years. I don't even know if it's showing up for you right now, but it's gonna be there. There will be a link to the write-up of my presentation because I'm gonna speak about a whole list of things, and you don't have to take notes right now. Just listen to me. So I'm gonna start with the wood element. So the physical characteristics of wood element people, they tend to have a greenish complexion. They have small heads, long face, broad shoulder and straight back. They have a sinewy body, which, the people that you can see their tendons and their muscles through their skin. They tend to be tall with small hands and feet. The major organ of wood element people is the liver. Their power is in expansion. And their main archetype is the pioneer. The desires are related to purpose. And the context in what they live is involving in challenge. Their virtue is fervor. And they are in a path of action. They value utility, and they have a talent for initiative. The emotion that mostly affect them, or they express mostly, is anger. So, there's some existential issues and related to goals, like what to do, and a strategy, how to do it. They tend to develop injuries in the head, neck, and upper back. So the keys to understanding wood people are, so they seek challenges and pushes to the limit. And they enjoy and they do well under pressure. They admire speed, novelty, and skill. They love action, movement, and adventure. They like to be the first, the best, and the only. I know a lot of people. I'm kind of like that too. The typical problems that affect people who are wood element primarily is impatience, intolerance. They have volatile emotions. They're impulsive. They tend to abuse of stimulants and sedatives. They tend to have vascular headaches, muscle spasms, high blood pressure, nerve inflammations, and migratory pains. So I was thinking how I can exemplify this because I don't have a presentation to share with you. Well, you can take a look at the notes because there are some pictures, but I thought about celebrities that could represent the elements. And a good representative of the wood element is Celine Dion. So now I'm going to move to fire, the second element. The physical characteristics of fire element people are they tend to have more of a reddish complexion, white teeth. They have pointed small heads. They have a well-developed shoulder muscles, curly hair or just not much hair at all. They also have small hands and feet, and they walk briskly. The major organ that are present in the fire people, that relate to the fire element people, is the heart. Their power is fusion. Let me close something here. Honestly, somebody just sent me a message. Oh my gosh. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Anne. So cool to see you guys here. So where was I? Okay, the major organ of the body of fire people is the heart. Their power is in fusion, and their archetype is the wizard. They desire fulfillment. Their context of living is intimacy. They virtual charisma, path of compassion, the value of intuition. They have a talent in communication, and the emotion that mostly affect them is joy, but on an excessive way, like the need for joy that takes you to take some kind of stimulant for it. Their existential issues tend to go towards dimension, like how broad is my scope? And they tend to have injuries of the head, upper back, nose, mouth, and throat. The keys to understanding fire. They relish excitement and delight in intimacy, keenly intuitive, and passionately empathetic. They believe in the power of charisma and desire. They love sensation, drama, and sentiment. They like to be hot, bright, and vibrant. The typical problems that affect people who are heart element primarily are anxiety, agitation and frenzy, bizarre perceptions and sensations, nervous exhaustion and insomnia, palpitations, sweating, hypoglycemia, rashes, palsy, and abuse of mind-altering substances. And you know, I'm judging any celebrity here. I just want to exemplify them physically, okay? Because this is not a judgment place, and I have no judgment on people's choices. But celebrity that represents a fire element person would be, a good one would be Ryan Gosling. So moving on, because I don't want to make this too long. I want it to be exciting until the end. Earth element. So the physical characteristics of earth element people are a yellowish complexion, round face, wide jaws, large head, a well-developed shoulder and back, large abdomen, large thighs and calf muscles, and a well-built muscle structure. So the major organ of the body that relates to earth element is the spleen. Their power is in moderation. Their archetype is the peacemaker. Their desires of unification. They live in a context of connectedness and their virtual community. They live in a path of loyalty and they value service. They have talent for harmony, and the emotion that mostly affects them is worry. Some of the existential issues for earth element people are orientation, like what's my role and where I am. And some of the injuries that might develop are located in the head, in the joints, lower back, and lower abdomen. So the keys to understanding earth element people are, so they want to be involved and needed. They like to be in charge, but not in the limelight. They're agreeable and accommodating. They want to be all things for all people. They seek harmony and togetherness and insist upon loyalty, security, and predictability. I'm laughing because I'm kind of like that. So the typical problems that affect people who are primarily earth element are worry, obsession, self-doubt, meddling and overprotective, overextended and inert. They tend to feel lethargy, indigestion, unruly appetites. They can have water retention issues, muscle tenderness, unrealistic expectations, and disappointment. So a person who physically represents well the earth type of people is Jennifer Lopez. Okay, so metal. So the physical characteristics of metal element primarily. People are pale complexion, square face, small head, small shoulders and upper back, a flat abdomen, and a strong voice. The major organ that relates to metal element is the lungs. Their power is in the contraction. Their archetype is the alchemist. They have desires for order. They live in a context of organization. Their virtue is the righteousness, and they're in a path of mastery. They value purity, and they have a talent for discrimination. The major emotion that affects metal element people is sadness. And their existential issue tends to go around boundaries, like where I am and where I'm not. They tend to have injuries in the head, skin, mouth, throat, and nose. The keys to understanding metal people, or metal element primarily people, they like definition, structure, and discipline. They respect virtue, discretion, authority. They seek to live according to reason and principle. They hold selves and others to high standards. They revere beauty, ceremony, and refinement. So typical problems that can affect metal element people are indifference and inhibition. They're autocratic, strict, and detail-oriented, tend to be formal and distant and unnatural. They can have stiff joints and muscles, dry skin and hair, shallow breathing, sensitive to climate, poor circulation, self-righteousness, and disillusionment. So a celebrity that could physically fit the profile of a metal element person would be Tom Brady. All right, next one. I'm starting to get thirsty here. Forgot my water. So water element. So the physical characteristics of water element predominant people are they tend to have dark complexion or those dark circles under the eye, wrinkly skin, large head and broad cheeks, narrow shoulders, a larger abdomen, and a long spine. Like their core is longer than their legs. Um, the major organ that affect the water type or water element people is the kidneys. Their power is in consolidation. Their archetype is the philosopher. They desire for truth and they live in a context of mystery. Their virtue is in honesty and they're in a path of knowledge. They value durability and they have talent for imagination. The major emotion that affect water type people is fear. Some of their existential issues go around origins and destiny, like what's my past and what's my future. And they tend to develop injuries in the head, upper back, lower back, hips, and legs. The keys to understanding water. They are articulate, clever, introspective, self-contained and self-sufficient, penetrating, critical, and scrutinizing. They seek knowledge and understanding, and they like to remain hidden, enigmatic, and anonymous. Some typical problems that water element type people can develop are so they can be emotionally inaccessible and undemonstrative. They tend to like isolation and loneliness. They can be tactless, unforgiving, and suspicious. They could develop hardening of the arteries, deterioration of teeth and gums, have problems with backache, chillness, and loss of libido. So the person that physically represents the water type element would be Leonardo DiCaprio. So these are the 5 elements and a little bit for, each of them so you can get a broad, explanation and a little bit of clues, to identify the people in your life and yourself. So just like the principle of yin and yang and the dynamic and constant search for balance, you might find that you identify with many elements. And we are indeed a combination of all of them. But the key here is to identify the predominant aspect of you. So there's one element that is the driving force of your self-expression. Pretty much everything can be associated with the 5 elements. And therefore, one can learn how to eat the best foods for your primary element, the best type of movement, the best type of mental practices, etc. I use the elements to treat my patients and to coach them in all aspects of life that they need help with. A lot of this knowledge is also used in guiding my intuition, in how to be my own personal life, in how to interact with people, how to adapt to different climates, for my self-care. And so much of it becomes common sense once you learn them and suddenly discover how simple and intuitive life can be. So isn't it interesting how we spend most of our early years learning how to silence that internal voice of our intuition? And then how we're mostly conditioned to look for the answers for our problems outside of our innate wisdom. So we learn to forget that we know more about ourselves than anyone else. So when we do that, we become fractured and disconnected. We can feel lost when we're separate from the visible and invisible aspect of us. And when we treat them separately, we miss out on the depths of our life experiences and challenges and perhaps even extend times of discomfort and suffering unnecessarily. So, if you're feeling inclined to take steps towards reconnecting all aspects of who you are, understanding the messages of the disharmonies they are presenting in your reality, develop a new way of accepting and responding to the challenges in your life, and have a more empowered way of living. So for the sake of just experiencing life with all the possible flavors that are available for you. So if you're still here with me and this message inspires you and you're curious about what we could uncover together, I want to ask you to DM me right now, because I'm looking for 10 to 12 adventurous individuals who are willing to get on a video call with me and dive into a 30-minute virtual consultation. So this is complimentary offer. It doesn't cost anything for the followers of Abigail here. It will only cost your time. We will be looking to any aspect of your life that you'd like to explore. I will offer you key insights and give you recommendations for any questions you may have about your physical body, your mind, your soul, your career, your relationships, and your spirit. So thank you again for this opportunity, Abigail. And I think so in the comments on the top of the video, there will be ways to connect with me, the ways to find the notes for this presentation. And I'm just so thankful for being here today and having the opportunity to talk to you guys, but also to challenge myself. I feel much better now. I was really resistant towards coming here publicly to this large group of people, and I'm so happy now that I did it, because I think I can do this. So thank you again. Happy Light Summit for everybody. I hope you're finding a lot of amazing wisdom shared here in this location. The next presenter in the Summit Light will come in about 27 minutes. Her name is Mary Gooden, and her topic is Anchor Your Light, Activate Your Magic. Thank you again, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.